discrimination, racism does not come from hate. It comes from different values or cultural norms. What? Intolerance comes from judgment and conditioning. But this is what happened in my family. My dad could not fit into my grandfather's expectations. He was disowned, kicked out of the family for over 5 years. I was always feeling judged by my dad, labeled as not good enough, incapable. You don't know anything. I've heard this regularly. Probably he wanted to make me better, more competitive, smarter, or maybe good enough on his terms. Yet he was highly critical, prompting me maybe to just survive, get better in this environment. I realized one day he believed in competition. He did not love himself or anyone else. He didn't know how. I left my family and I decided to live on the other side of the planet. I was still very critical of myself and towards others, toward my wife and my children. I could not believe it. I felt terrible inside. I was carrying my learned behaviors and mindset wherever I traveled. It took me 34 years to drop my learned behaviors and to find a new self under it. For years, I was doing reflective traveling in over 60 countries. I came up with this idea to learn about myself and my limitations. I was hoping to find answers that were not available at home. In the beginning, I judged so-called primitive ethnic groups because I've seen extreme things. I've seen celebrating and feasting on the occasion of death in South America, as the dead returning to source of God was a cause to celebrate. How could they do it? We are supposed to be grieving, wearing black, to be sad for months, where I come from. Sky burial in the Himalayas, exposing the dead to be eaten by vultures? How could they allow it? I found the answers. Frozen soil, 9 months a year, and no firewood available. I've seen choosing cows and leaving babies behind among the Maasai tribes in Africa. I was pissed off. How could they do that? Human life is sacred above all, is it not? Not in that environment. Cows provide milk and nutritious food to sustain a whole family. These experiences and more have turned my life and my logic upside down. They helped me to let go of my expectations and judgments. What if they are not primitive and not extreme? Unconditional love and acceptance are our challenges today. Will you join me in embracing and accepting differences? You could help heal your family, community, the country, and the whole planet. You would just need to be an earthling without any labels and expectations in unconditional love. Join me.